children should come, he is not responsible, doesn't take care of me, he doesn't provide. You just cannot become a man immediately after marriage. Like some of those, you have those sofas and all, you can just blow air in and, like that you take these boys and after marriage you immediately become a man, and it doesn't happen like that. You keep on blowing every day, little bit, and then, one day you feel that, well, it seems like he's ready to take care. The problem in marriage today is not between gentlemen and ladies, but it is between grown-up boys and grown-up girls. Marriage is meant for ladies and gentlemen, not for even man and woman. But today, most of them are grown-up boys. Hair start growing on the face, and he looks a little bit muscular and all that. Oh, you are big, you can marry now. Same feminine features start coming and say that, oh, you are big, you can marry now. Yes. Biologically, you may be mature enough to be a mother or to father a child, but no, you are not. You are not. So we need to work hard. We need to work hard to, and not to be that grown-up boy and grown-up girl, but to become that gentleman and that woman. So people ask, when should a man or a woman begin this sort of training? As I said, sooner the better. Start it early, let the parents pay attention. But I know there is no use in talking about them because most parents have it done in the day. Mothers are not looking forward to the day when their daughters are getting married. They think about marriage only when the daughter is 19, 20, 21 year old, that's you too late to think about marriage. Same with parents also. Parents are not thinking about their sons. In the future, he is going to be father of many children, the husband of another woman. All those things we need to. So never think that your son or your daughter is too small to be trained. Because these characteristics that you expect from a man are not created overnight. You add little bit, Slowly, here little, there little. Chisel a little here. Polish a little there. That's the way it is. And most parents have failed. And what do you expect? What do you expect? So parents have to know their children. What are his possibilities? What are his positives and negatives? Where should I pay more attention? And all that. Now I don't want to dwell on that one because now you are all grown up, your parents are not going to do it, and even if they want, they cannot do it. You are grown up. But I said it because there are some parents here. I wanted to say that the success of your children's marriage in the future depends upon what you do now. What you do now. If you find your children failed, there is a part of responsibility for you also. I did not bring them up correctly. So people ask, then does that mean someone in his or her 20s, late 20s, early 20s, getting ready to marry in few months, have no scope of establishing a model family life? I don't want to say that. Our God is very gracious, He does not bless us always because we deserve it. He blesses more than what we deserve, and that's how we all survive. But we don't want to put too much hope only on the grace of God, that even if I mess around, the Lord is gracious. Let's not put that much. So the question, how could a young man Now, discipline himself. Well, I will say you start your training, even as now, you may be in your 20s, you may be some in 30s, early 20s, or, maybe late 20s, whatever it is, you may be thinking of marriage in a year or in few months or couple of years. You start your training. Every day, every moment from now on is very important. You study what are the virtues God expects from a man and a woman. What are the virtues, what you call a biblical man and a biblical woman? You take a notebook, you take your Bible, you study it and find out what are these virtues of a biblical man, biblical woman. You find anybody whom you wanted to emulate, you think so and so's family life is good or okay, you approach him and have a conversation with him, an interview with him or her, the mother, and find out some secrets about, those things. Yes. Career, you pay a lot of attention to your career, that's good. But the most important career is your family career, I tell you. Because the other things of either you can change, even you can change your trade or your area of, in late years, but this you cannot change, you are stuck. Yeah. So, you always have a notebook with you where you will scribble down. I'm not saying necessarily, it could be your tablet, or it could be your notebook, it could be your own mind, your brain, wherever you want to write down these things, definitely. So what are the virtues God expects from a man or a woman? What are some of the pitfalls people commonly fall to? Why so-and-so failed even in the Bible? Where did Lot fail as a father and a husband? Where did Mrs. Lot fail as a mother? What about Abraham, Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and his two wives? What's unique about Noah and his family? Study these things and see whether you can bring something into it. If there are good books you can get on family, you have to be extremely careful in picking up books because all kinds of books are there, some are trash. But pick up some good books, study it. Yes, definitely that will help. You have to prepare, there are certain areas where you may have a problem. You may come from a very strong father, he's a leader, a responsible man. Well, boys, I will say, bless your heart if your father has been a good man. Because strong men come, boys come only from strong fathers. Sadly, in some homes, the mother may have been very strong, but the father is a weak one. Well, the girl will come very strong, but the boys will be terrible. It's all possibility, even some of those boys may turn out to be homosexuals and so many other problems. Yes. Strong mothers and weak fathers produce very weak boys and very strong girls. A good combination is a strong father and a strong mother. Strong father means in all masculine virtues he is strong, and all feminine virtues she is strong. Such families only will bring out very strong men and women. Well, you need to understand you have parents also. Yes. Well, some of you girls may have to say that my mother, I think, is too strong. some of that thing is going to influence me, and I don't want to be like that. If she is strong in feminine characters, no problem, because she will submit herself under the man. But many of the women are strong in masculine characters. That psychologists and sociologists call animus. A-N-I-M-U-S. Animus is male characteristics in a woman. And anima, that is female characteristics in a man, psychologically. So there are a lot of men with a lot of anima, soft, feminine features, dealings, words. There are women with very strong masculine characters. I don't know whether, the Lord was debating whether it should make it a boy or a girl, boy or a girl, boy or a girl. And then all of a sudden, children inherit all these things from parents. It comes through that way. Yes. Our grandparents and our great-grandparents, they were good people, simple people, honest people. I don't want to blame, but when they considered marriages, what did they consider really? They asked them, how much land? That's this. How many acres? How many children? So this and that, they thought that, 5 acres of land, and okay, he's a good boy, That's the sort of thing. But does he drink, does he this, that? No bad habits, no bad habits. A lot of money and no bad habits. That means excellent. And for girls also, they, how much, dowry, this and that, and all that kind of questions they ask and all that. That's not the basis. They were not looking for ladies and gentlemen in marriage, No, they were not. Now we are in a very difficult situation. We have left home, but we have not reached the destination. This generation. Before it was joint family. Even if it's a wrong marriage, no problem, because she's going to live with great mother-in-law, great grandmother and uncle and aunt and everybody. If he says something, he says, that's it, takes care of the problem. The question is, success of the marriage is decided by the mother-in-law and the sister-in-laws. So if they like it, successful. If they don't like it, it's hell there. That's it. But now it's not that way. You fly, take, the next day after marriage, you take your train and you go to wherever you want. You are alone there, no permanent family, no umpires, no middleman, nothing, nobody, for every little things. Either you compare your wife with your mother-in-law, or you compare your husband with your father-in-law, or this sort of thing, and then starts problems. There's nobody to help you. So you have to make sure that you are choosing the right person. The responsibility to find a suitable partner today rests more upon the individual than upon the family. Because even if they find the right, you are the one to leave. Their joint family system, things were different. Morning 6 o'clock, father, son and all will be in the field. It's only 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock after finishing everything. This is 1 hour, what they used to call Talayana Mantra. They used to say that, nobody should hear, so in the middle, that sort of a whisper. That's it. Before realize they fell asleep because all day is hard work, the hot sun. But now that's not the case. Now it's, both say that, come on then. That sort of. So a lot of marriage problems, separations, divorces, and a lot of the counseling, a lot of these things. So the responsibility to find a suitable partner today rests more upon the person marrying, whether it's a man or woman. They have more responsibility. I will say, and the church has greater responsibility because they will be in the church. They will be away from the parents in the church, and all these problems come in the church. So the elders of the church, they have to give, counseling, and they have to take care of all these situations. So it all comes on. Counseling is a major job for the elders and the leaders of the church today. Parents, once in 2 years, they're there for 2 weeks and that's it. That's it. They don't face problems anymore. So there's a lot more separations and all these things. So, you needed to pay more attention to your own life in taking care of your own personal life where you make yourself a suitable husband or a suitable wife. So a lot of chiseling is to be done by yourself, and I will say the elders, the leaders of the church. For that reason, today when a marriage proposal comes, the role of the elders is much greater than before. Unless you want always to be after these people with counseling and mediatorship and this sort of thing. Therefore, the church has to give an okay, go ahead children. We think there is compatibility, things are okay. I'm not saying the responsibility for finding a partner is for the church, no, it's not. But in bringing them together, deciding whether this will be a successful marriage or not, as far as humanly speaking, we cannot, no elder can say this is going to be successful finally, but obviously there are reasons why this cannot work out, because, there are issues there, So that sort of a decision has to be said. For that reason, you have to sit with your leaders, elders, and give them an opportunity to see the boy and talk with him and see and interview her and talk with and discuss and then say that I think it's better not to proceed because on our talking I don't think she is for you or he is for you. You have no compatibility in value systems and nothing. You only will have problems. That sort of advice or go ahead children, as far as we could see, it's okay. I think God has made you for each other. If you're careful, you can have a family life, that sort of thing. The parents are not going to say that anymore. We are giving in a different, area. If you are a Christian, because you will be fellowshipping in some church, even though you are living away with your parents, from your parents and all, so the responsibility of the church is greater. That's why they arrange meetings like this, 20 years or 25 years or 50 years. When I got married 45 years back, I never had a premarital counseling or postmarital counseling or marriage counseling, nothing. That sort of thing they never heard about. Nobody was talking about it. But now, we started marriage counseling before everybody started, 45 years, 33 years back we started it, and then eventually Roman Catholics started it. But now, most denominations they don't marry unless they have gone through the premarital counseling and get their certificate and all, because otherwise they will be frequently involved in divorces and separation, that sort of problems. What am I saying? What am I talking about? I'm talking that you needed to become a man before you marry. You need to become a woman before you marry. Otherwise you are only a grown-up girl or a grown-up boy. Grown-up boys and girls, marriage is not for them. No. It's not a childish stuff. Marriages were easier earlier days. It's much easier. I remember about an appachan and ammachi, we call the older people. My father used to say this story, his father was a very strong man, so what he says is fine. So he saw a girl for his son and said, he gave word and even engagement, didn't ask him. That sort of thing. So he didn't like the girl at all. So, the wedding came, both were standing, the preacher asked, do you take this? And he said, don't ask me, ask my dad. I don't take anybody. So, right in there, the preacher asked, what do you say, Matavicha? Kettirdo? Go ahead. And then, they were married and I know them and they have 5 or 6 children and all, because it doesn't matter, he likes or not. Can you think of a situation like that today? You cannot think of a situation like that today. Seasons have changed. So these days, marriages, unless they are made between compatible people, mature people, they have a part to say and they have thought through it, they have prayed about it and they have decided. There is no guarantee that it will last. And I tell you, if failure in marriage is the most saddest thing I've experienced in life, there is nothing. I had to deal with different people in counseling and it's saddest, very, very difficult to deal with marriage problems. And a lot of people have, and they will have because they married the wrong person. If I permitted to say that, the way the marriage established, the people, parties in the marriage, they were all not right. Do you have anything you want to ask? I only said something. I didn't go into it in depth. But if I don't give you opportunity, anybody, men or women, any question you want to ask, don't hesitate to ask. Go ahead and ask.
We are asking the
Yeah.
obvious. In today's generation and especially in cities like this, aspect of falling in love.
Yeah.
Since you come to the West also, you know that. How do we deal with that and how, to what extent from your experience we...
I don't approve falling in love. I approve falling in liking. I like Mary, I like Matthew. It's a danger to say I love, as a Christian love you can have. It's like all brothers and sisters, I'm not talking about. This sort of romantic love and all that, say that, no, it's a danger. What's the basis on? Oh, I consider him, I think of him, I consider him, I like the way he behaves, he's a gentleman, the way he talks, treat other girls and all that, his value system, I like him. I like to have him as my husband. I like to have her as my wife. She seems to be a good girl, a good lady, mature lady, I like her ways. So you can proceed further with the proposal through the right channels. And I think that both parties, they, after dealing with everything, both like, and then you can have an engagement, and that's when you have more freedom to, interact more and talk more, and, still not going alone anywhere. I don't believe in those things, but you can talk more and all, maybe in the company of your parents or your senior brothers, you can do some shopping or maybe, things of that nature, just to know, a little more, because I don't like marriage between strangers. That's how I married. Totally stranger, didn't know a thing about it, and then, that sort of, that was okay, as I said, joint family systems, it was okay, but today, two strangers walking into a new flat they have rented and start living, two strangers, they all look at each other and say, why are you looking at me? I just looked at you. That sort of. So, take 6 months after your, engagement and get to know, you can talk each other and all that, but with the, you liked each other, but during this time, you know more, but not with the view of separation or anything, but it's so that your marriage will be more better established. That sort of, that's the period when you develop some affection and all that, But you just saw her, you liked her, why you liked her? What's the basis?
No, uncle, I think what George probably meant is, where, like in cities like Bombay, in cities it's more common actually where there are couples already having a relationship.
People having. Yeah. But that's we call adultery and all that. We don't put a halo around that relationship, they may not be having physical relationship, but they are having an affair, Their emotions are met, The physical touch and a lot of things, some of these magazines, some papers, question and answers, you read them and you know that, things that even married couples won't do, they are doing. That sort of, no, I don't believe in those things. I'm not an old man, I think I'm a very, my viewpoints are always not the old one, but I think, I said, as I said, I have no problem in two people liking. Or I like 1,000 people, but I can marry only one person, right? So liking has no commitment, no emotional attachment. I like the way she dresses, very modest, the way she talks with others, she always keeps her boundaries, and the way she relates to older people, younger people, I think she has some good qualities of becoming a good wife. I think he's a gentleman, he always, keeps his position, and his manners are very nice and all that. I like him to be my husband, okay? But whether it is God's will or not, that's what I want to do. So you can tell your parents or the elders in your church that, uncle, I like that man. I don't know whether, there is compatibility and all, but the way many things, and you think that we will be in any way compatible, or would you be our mediator, maybe take this matter to our parents and others, that sort of thing. There should be somebody. And instead of people saying that I love you, I sometimes say that it's like a male dog and a female dog walking around, and that's sort of, what is it? And then after marriage, no meaningful relationship. In a couple of years, it's over. And because they're Christians, so they may not divorce, but they have no family life. I know cases where they sleep separately, They say, okay, we have a child, we don't want divorce. For the sake of our children, we are living as husband and wife, but we have no relationship. Why it happened? See, that's a danger. That's a danger. You should never do that mistake. Marriage is for life. Marriage is for life. Even a child born needs a very responsible father and a very responsible, loving mother to mature him, to bring him up as a very solid person. Single family, broken families only will bring up broken children, character-wise and all. So liking, I'm not against boys, maybe finding a girl, that sort of, but anything more than liking, no. It's never, uncle, I love that girl. Say, you love that girl? In what capacity? As a Christian believer, brother, oh, you love all the girls. That's nice. You like that girl? I said, why you like that girl? I think she will make a good wife. Don't you think that? I have not observed her, she's her behavior, talks, her friends are good friends. She is a girl of some taste. She, modesty is there, a shamefacedness is there, value. I like that man, he seems to be a responsible person. He's always good, he's punctual, he's always kind to others, and I have seen he's a leader, and the way he teaches, share in the church. I like to have a husband like that. This man different. Oh, that's good. So so he has many characteristics I have been praying for. I studied from the Bible. I think he fits into that one. Now, do you think we are a match? Can you find out whether he's thinking about marriage? Will he accept somebody like me? Whether do I have the characters that he's looking for? If he say no, no problem. I'm not. See, after liking, if a marriage doesn't take place, there is no broken heart. No broken heart. After loving, if the parents say no way, that's when want to run away and marry, or want to commit suicides of the world, this and that. Boy, you have it because we are already falling in love. But we are not. Well, you have it. Why? Well, there are more to it. We cannot say everything to you. There's that and this. Well, that's not going to be, establish a good family life. So be a responsible person. Nothing wrong in liking a person. You can say, I think parents, girls or boys, they must be able to sit down with their parents and discuss these matters. With senior brothers in the church, elders in the church, they must be able to sit down and talk these matters, without being very emotional. Parents should not get upset because girl said, I like a person. She's not saying that I'm going to marry that person. She's saying that, will you find out whether, they're interested, whether, we could proceed or not, Any other questions? Go ahead, ask if you have a question. This whole time you can, because don't tell later I wanted to ask, but so don't be ashamed. You have a question, you ask.
One more thing, I don't know whether maybe you are covering it today or not. Today, most likely that there will be people who would have already gone through sexual abuse in their younger days, or without knowing these aspects, already had emotional attachments broken, and so there are severe issues like that might be there. From my questions, some of the tips as to how to handle, how to help. What are the things that we can tell?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question. If you go by biblical guidelines, if a man and a woman physically related, sexually related, then Bible says they must marry. They must marry. The only exception is when the girl's father is unwilling to give him to that woman, still then he has to pay what they call the bride's money, and she has to remain single all her life. Because sexual relationship is allowed only in marriage, between married people. So if a man has, sexual relationship with a woman, or she had, then marriage, whether is there. Now, the other is prostitution, somebody carrying on sexual relations for money. Well, prostitutes cannot marry because they are not intentional. Okay? If somebody say, I love you, we had that sort of, then go ahead, marry, I would say. But then if one partner is an unbeliever and all, well, will a believer do that? That sort of questions there. And what right do you have to destroy the future of a girl? And then claim that I'm a believer? So I will say, go ahead, marry. That voice I will give. But then, in some cases that won't work out. In our society does not consider it all, a bad thing. They say that everybody is doing it, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. It's a break time, huh? Yeah. Take a break time.